video, let us learn about analogy between vectors and signals. What is analogy between vectors and signals? It is nothing but, as we generally know the knowledge of vectors, we have an idea about vectors. By using that knowledge, we will learn about signals. By using the familiar phenomena about vectors that we know, we will learn signals. Here we are not comparing vectors and signals. Just with the help of the knowledge that we have regarding vectors, we are learning signals. What is a vector? Before going to learn about this, first let us know what is a vector. A vector is nothing but which has both magnitude and direction. Vector has both specified magnitude and direction. Before discussing about the analogy between vectors and signals, first let us derive some formulas regarding vectors. Vector is nothing but which has both magnitude and direction, which we already know. We have learned in earlier classes. First let us consider two vectors v1 and v2. First let us consider two vectors v1 and v2. This is the vector v2 and this is the vector v1. Generally, the component of v2 along v1 is given by the component of v2 along v1 is given by v1 dot v2 by v2. Generally, the component of v2 along v1 is given by v1 dot v2 by v2. In vectors, v1 dot product v2 is nothing but v1 v2 cos theta, whereas v1 cross product of v2 is nothing but v1 v2 sin theta. Here we have to use v1 dot v2 by v2. It is the dot product of two vectors. In general, we can represent one vector in the form of another vector by drawing a component of one vector on the other. In general, we can represent one vector in the form of another vector by drawing its component on the other vector. So v1 along here it is not v2 along v1, v1 along v2. Here in the same way, component of v1 along v2 is given by c1 to v2. Component of v1 along v2 is given by c1 to v2. These both values are component of v1 along v2 only. Here c12 is a constant. We are representing one vector in the form of other vector here by using the help of a constant. Here we are not using any constant, but these two values are same. Generally, if v1 value will be approximately equal to c1 to v2. If v1 value wants to be equal to c1 to v2, then there will be error ve. This will be the error. If we want to equate v1 and v2, then there will be a error while equating those values. So v1 is approximately equal to c1 to v2 and v1 is equal to c1 to v2 plus ve, where ve is error. As we know that these two values are equal, so let us equate these two values. Consider this as equation 1 and this as equation 2. So equate 1 and 2. v1 dot v2 by v2 is equal to c1 to v2. v1 dot v2 by v2 is equal to c1 to v2. So c12 is equal to v1 dot v2 by v2 square. So c12 is equal to v1 dot v2 by v2 square. Generally, if two vectors are orthogonal, then theta is equal to 90. I will tell you once again. What is v1 dot v2? What is v1 dot v2? v1 v2 cos theta by v square. If cos theta value is equal to 0, then c12 is equal to 0. When will the value of cos theta is 0? If theta is equal to 90 degrees. If theta is equal to 90 degrees, then c12 is equal to 0. If theta is equal to 90 degrees, then C12 is equal to 0. What if theta is equal to 90 degrees? It means the two vectors are perpendicular. They are satisfying the orthogonality condition. What is orthogonality conditions? If two vectors are mutually perpendicular, then it is called orthogonality condition. It means the angle between these two vectors is 90 degrees. If these two vectors are perpendicular, then there will be no component of v1 on v2. So this is about vectors. The C12 value is equal to v1 dot v2 by v2 square. If C12 is equal to 0, then we can say that the two vectors are mutually perpendicular. Now based on this, let us consider these things in case of a signals. This is the basic knowledge that we have to know about vectors. Now let us read. Consider two signals x1 of t and x2 of t. Consider two signals x1 of t and x2 of t. By seeing this, we can say that these two are continuous time signals. x1 of t will be approximately equal to C12 x2 of t. Here C12 is a constant. This may be any value. So x1 of t may be approximately equal to C12 x2 of t. If we want to equate x1 of t to x2 of t, then there will be an error. x1 of t is equal to C12 x2 of t plus xc of t. This xc of t is nothing but error. This xc of t is nothing but error. From this equation, what is xc of t? xc of t is equal to x1 of t minus C12 into x2 of t. xc of t is equal to x1t minus C12 into x2 of t. The error value should be always minimum. We need to find the error such that its value is always minimized. We have to find out the least error. This error value depends on C12 only. Why it is only depending on C12? Because the values of x1t and x2 of t are already predefined. The values of x1t and x2 of t are already predefined. We cannot change these values. The only thing that we can change is C12 because it is the constant value. The only thing that we can change is C12 because C12 is a constant. So the error depends on C12. We need to calculate C12 such that the error should be minimum. We need to find the value of C12 such that the error should be minimum. We need to calculate mean square error. We should not find directly the error because it may result in some large positive or negative values. So for this, we need to calculate mean square error. Also one more reason, that is error may be positive or negative. So to get the accurate value, we are calculating the mean square error. To get the accurate value, we are calculating the mean square error. It is simply written as MSE. This mean square error is denoted by epsilon. We know that error may be positive or negative. If the error is -2 whole square is nothing but 4, and if the error is positive, that is 2, plus 2 whole square is also 4. So to get the accurate value, we are calculating the mean square error. It is denoted by epsilon. Now we have to find the mean square error. For this, first let us consider an interval t1 less than t less than t2. Because we have considered two continuous time signals in between the interval t1 and t2. Now we have to calculate the mean square error. So epsilon is equal to 1 by t2 minus t1. Here 1 by t2 minus t1 is the length. We are integrating. Why we are integrating? Because it is a continuous time signal. Here we are integrating in between the limits t1 to t2. Why we are integrating? Because it is a continuous time domain. If it is a discrete time domain, we will do summation. Integral t1 to t2 xc of t whole square dt. What is xc of t value that we have found out? What is xc of t value? Xe of t is nothing but x1 of t minus c12 into x2 of t whole square dt. To find the mean square error, we need to differentiate this equation with respect to c12 and equate it to 0. Then we will get the error. So dE of dc12 is equal to d by dc12 of 1 by t2 minus t1 integral t1 to t2. It is of the form a minus b whole square. So it can be written as a square minus 2ab as b square. Now by changing the order of integration, one comes outside, 1 by t2 minus t1 integral t1 to t2 d by dc12 of x1 square of t dt minus 2 into integral t1 to t2 d by dc12 of x1 of t into c12 into x2 of t plus integral t1 to t2 d by dc12 of x2 of t into c12 x2 square of t into c12 square dt is equal to 0. This value will be equal to 0 because d of x1 square of t with respect to c12 is equal to 0. So 1 by t2 minus t1 1 by t2 minus 0 minus 2 into integral t1 to t2 d by dc12 of x1 of t into c12 into x2 of t, which is d by dc12 of x1 of t into c12 into x2 of t is nothing but x1 of t into x2 of t dt plus integral t1 to t2 d by dc12 of x2 square of t into c12 square of dt is nothing but 2c12 x2 square of t dt. t2 minus t1, if it goes on RHS, it will be equal to 0. So integral t1 to t2 2c12 into x2 square of t dt is equal to 2 integral t1 to t2 x1 of t into x2 of t dt. This 2 and this 2 will get cancelled. So c12 is equal to integral t1 to t2 x1 of t into x2 of t dt by integral t1 to t2 x2 square of t dt. What is the value of c12? Integral t1 to t2 x1 of t into x2 of t dt by integral t1 to t2 x2 square of t. In vectors we got c12 is equal to v1 v2 by v2 square. In signals it is c12 is equal to integral t1 to t2 x1 of t into x2 of t dt by integral t1 to t2 integral t1 to t2 x2 square of t dt. So we can say that these two have analogy. In vectors, if c12 is equal to 0, then the vectors are mutually perpendicular. They are satisfying the orthogonality condition. In the same way, in signals also, if c12 is equal to 0, it is also satisfying the orthogonality condition in between the interval t1 to t2. This is about analogy between vectors and signals. This is the value that we have to take to get the minimum possible error. This is about analogy between vectors and signals. In the next video, let us learn about some of the problems related to signals based on orthogonal condition. Thanks for watching the video.